A philosopher once said that the greatest illusion of all is that of disassociation, as we're all an integral part of a single organism and live on one planet. Mankind has been going against these words throughout history, but this simple truth, said by an ancient wise man and passed through the centuries, has not lost its vitality. Still now, there are political contradictions, conflicts and different levels of development which prevent us from declaring the unity of the planet. Despite this, it is still commonly understood that the world is a single unit and that we are all dependent on each other within it. The number of those who associate their own development with that of the rest of the world is increasing. This is why such terms as globalization and collective security have appeared in modern vocabulary. The concept of collective diplomacy has also risen in recent decades, and interstate associations exist in all inhabited continents without exception. The integration processes in the continent of Asia, which covers half the world, are particularly active. Kazakhstan, which appeared on the political map of the world recently, has now become the ideological inspiration for several interstate alliances, including Asian alliances. Multi-level integration from the very start underlies the basis of the Kazakh foreign affairs policy. Multi-level integration from the very start underlies the basis of the Kazakh foreign affairs policy, and the young state has proved the effectiveness of this approach in just one decade, in a period when nobody doubted the viability of Kazakhstan's first international initiative. It is with great satisfaction that I confess that Kazakhstan's initiative on convening the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, offered in 1992 at the 47th session of the UN General Assembly, has become a real influence on international relations and serves as an effective instrument for the support of security and cooperation in Asia. Its viability is based on the sincere hopes of the nations of this continent to live in a secure world, and on the region's objective to create a conduit for open and constructive dialogue. The Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, the Eurasian Economic Community, and the Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions are all examples of organizations which have become an integral part of the system for international relations. All of these were set up by the President of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, and the world has a high appreciation for these efforts. Kazakhstan is now preparing to chair the Organization on Security and Cooperation in Europe, and then, in the second largest international organization after the UN, the Islamic Conference Organization. Kazakhstan already holds the baton in the authoritative trans-state association called the Dialogue of Cooperation in Asia, which the country became a member of 5 years ago. As the acting chair of the Conference of Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia and the future chair of the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia, Kazakhstan is sure that an adequate response to modern challenges may be given only with joint cooperation between the regions. This is why it is expedient to establish efficient cooperation between the two forums, the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia and the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia. We share Thailand's opinion that the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia and the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia are two sides of the same coin when it comes to establishing progress in Asia.
В Азии есть много очень региональных организаций, таких как АСЕАН, Организация стран Персидского залива и других, но
There are many regional organizations in Asia, such as ASEAN, the Organization of Persian Gulf States, and others. But the specific point on the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia is that it is an organization which covers the whole of the Asian territory, the whole Asian continent. The aim of this organization is to make Asian states act not as separate states, and not even as separate regional groups of states, but as a whole, as an aggregate of Asian countries in the world. We now fully understand the role and importance of Asia in the world economy and in world policy. The Cooperation of Dialogue in Asia is a forum which in brief terms has united 30 key states of the Asian continent since 2002. Almost all of them are countries with good or high competitiveness, rich in natural and human resources, and with an ancient culture. These include such Asian giants as China and Russia, as well as countries with high economic potential such as Japan, Malaysia, Singapore and the Republic of Korea. Cooperation within the framework of the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia takes place according to a scheme which has no analogy, the most important of which is informality and willingness. Self-sufficient and diverse states have the opportunity to develop cooperation in those areas which are most interesting for them, and concepts of cooperation in almost 20 different directions are now being developed as part of the Dialogue of Cooperation in Asia.
Well, SICA has provided a platform of interaction, platform of confidence building measures amongst the countries of Asia, and giving them an opportunity to look at issues or subjects which are of shared interests and concerns, particularly when we talk of developing or building a cooperative mechanism or pluralistic mechanism for security. When we talk of Asia development cooperation, it's not a question of filling the gaps. That has to be seen in the context of Asia's needs and the way the countries of Asia are evolving and engaging with each other. Yes, the initiative was taken by Thailand, but Kazakhstan would be now taking over the chair of the ACD, and this is another area where we are seeking to work together. We hope that it will provide a model of cooperation which need not be tailored on the existing regional models of cooperation in various parts of the world, whether in Europe or Africa, or Latin Americas or North Americas, but an Asian model of cooperation where we are committed to work together.
Kazakhstan is one of the active participants of the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia. Energy, transport and agriculture are the sectors in which Kazakhstan is interested, and this is why it undertook the responsibility for the development of the state's cooperation in these three directions. The Republic is ready to offer its own concepts of cooperation. There are three documents in which the interests of all the member states of the Dialogue, including Kazakhstan, are reflected. Being the coordinator of projects in these areas, energy, transport and agriculture, of course means being interested in the development of this kind of cooperation, because it allows us to promote our economic interests. It allows us to use the collective strength of this organization, the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia. And as a specific example, I would like to mention that next year Kazakhstan plans to organize the first transport forum of the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia. It is planned to organize this in the first half of the year. Your state could become an example for other countries in the region in terms of attracting technology and providing high rates of economic development. We are glad that sustainability reigns in Kazakhstan. This is to the great merit of the government, which has provided positive transformation for society and the extension of relations between Kazakhstan and the international community. We will be pleased to support these efforts of Kazakhstan, particularly those which concern close cooperation between the Asian states. The seventh meeting of the ministers, which will take place in Central Asia, demonstrates the prospects for relations between the Asian states located in East and South Asia and other parts of our continent. In spite of Kazakhstan's low experience of working in the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of 30 member states made the decision that their next meeting will take place in Astana. This fact may be taken only as an acknowledgement of the Republic, its role in regional integration and its economic successes. As such, it is a success for Kazakh diplomacy. The meeting of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs in Astana will be the seventh in the history of the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia, and the rich agenda promises to make this meeting a significant one. The ministers are planning to make final decision on what the dialogue should result in, including the expected formation of a new large-scale Asian community. A virtual secretariat may also appear in the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia after this meeting, and the composition of the dialogue will be extended. However, we can say with confidence that after this meeting, Kazakhstan will officially receive the status of chairman, and the contribution which the Republic will make during the following year in terms of improvements in the work on the Dialogue on Cooperation in Asia will be reflected in the political maturity of the Republic.